Good morning. It is Tuesday morning, and I hope everyone had a pleasant and enjoyable Labor Day weekend. This is the upcoming second week of the class, and we are already into it. So, really, first, number one, want to thank you all for your participation and attention in the first week. Everything looks pretty good, and I'd like to give you a quick overview of what the probably normal procedure will be for most weeks in the class. And it's interesting that we started off with one with a holiday in the middle of it. Generally speaking, though, what will happen is with the discussions ending on Sunday, I try to get through most of them and have that grade done first. The discussion grade, that is. I try to get that done by Tuesday evening at the latest. So today it's going to be a bit of a rush to try to do that, so it might not come out till tomorrow morning. The reason I do that is with the initial discussion post due on Wednesday evening, I would like everyone to have the benefit of whatever grade or feedback that you got on the previous weeks before you are required to submit the second week's work. I think it's more productive that way, and you can take advantage of, or not, if you so choose, to use the commentary and things again back to you on that. The same will go for assignments. Assignments we try to get back to you by Thursday. I will normally try to get them back by Wednesday. Again, this week is just put off by a day. So there may just be a slight delay this week until Thursday, but I will, I never try to make promises because like you, life does get in the way sometimes, and I understand that. I've already heard from some people this week that had some extraordinary circumstances, some one-off things happen, and if you know that's going to happen, just please contact me, and we'll, of course, make whatever necessary accommodation is reasonable to take care of a real problem. I'm very, very flexible with that. On the other hand, deadlines are deadlines, and one of the things we're trying to do is a lot of preparing ourselves for the outside world. So this is also something, not a blanket invitation to extensions, but if circumstances warrant, please contact me in advance, and that's what makes it easier. Okay, the discussion this week, it looks pretty robust. I mean, a lot of people went into great length in their opening, and I did try to respond to many people, although I didn't respond to everybody. Now, this is not a unstandard practice for me. If the discussion is going well without my sticking my nose in, or if it can be furthered by my sticking my nose in, that's what will happen. But one thing I did notice about several post, which is really something I'd like to comment on, was they were great and very extensive looks at what the text told us. All right? It's almost a recap. And that's great. That shows you read it, that shows you did the work and understand the material. On the other hand, it doesn't tell me what you think, it tells me what the textbook author thinks. It tells me what the article authors think. Those things I know. I mean, be honest with you, I wrote most of this course. I know the content of that. What I'd like you to do is concentrate on your analysis of the reading, your understanding of the reading, the help you can give each other in gaining new insights as you go along. The discussion board is probably where you will do the most learning in this course. I firmly believe that. And so for you to, yes, state some basics that have come out of the readings and resources and allowed you to form your opinion, go ahead, state them. But, 1,000 words on what the textbook author says doesn't really advance the cause. So we are looking for discussion entries that advance the learning, advance the thinking process, and that's what we want to do. So sometimes with that, it's kind of my tacit way of saying, nice job, and you'll find that in the commentary, but I want us to be able to think really critically, really expansively about what we read and what we watch and bring new insights because every one of us is capable of doing that and should be doing that. All right, so that is great. Another point I want to make that nobody did, thank heavens, this is it. Nobody tried to write the discussion question into the into the answer that you gave, which is something I really want to discourage if you have any thoughts of doing that. For the very same reason I was just talking about thinking expansively and opening up your mind as to some new possibilities. Because what I find is when students do that, they tend to just answer the question at hand and really don't think in a very open and inquisitive way. And that kind of limits the discussion. So just some tips there that really, I think, really have a good educational reason for them. And that's why it happens. Okay, this week, what's going to happen? Well, this week we kind of shift. Last week it was very foundational, right? What is an organization? What does it do? What are some almost historical precedents? What has it been about for thousands of years, literally? And now we're going to come into the basic structure of organizations. We will find certain ways that you can discern that most organizations are put together. What principles do they follow? What is their basic form? How do they operate? And that is the essence of the reading for this week. So that when you come to writing the paper for week 2, what you'll be able to do is look at the organization you've selected and that you reviewed in week 1 and see if you can recognize the principles that are discussed in week 2 and how they come into play in the organization that you've chosen to examine. And I want everybody to maintain the awareness that once you chose that organization in week 1, we'd like you to follow it throughout the whole course. Why? Because the course builds on itself. It develops new arguments, new possibilities, new looks at an organization. It helps to keep following the same thing and layering it upon the previous weeks and the weeks before learning. So it's very important to do that. Don't go switching up and saying, oh, well, this week I wrote about Ford, next week I'll write about Amazon. That's a common mistake that comes up, and I'd like people to avoid that. The other thing, too, is often people will look at, this is a tough one for people, some people, because they've never been presented with this before, is if you've written a similar paper about an organization in the previous course, oh, well, I'll just use that again. I wrote about Ford then, I'll write about Ford now. No, can't do that. Each course is a separate entity. It requires its own original work. And I have a longer video on that I can post to answer some questions about the whole process of academic writing. So I'll probably do that in a few days. Okay, once again, great start. Very pleased. Time for me to get to work on the commentary and the review of the week 1 discussion. I've given you the timing of what we'll normally do, and I'm looking forward to the results from this week. Thank you very much.